Hello and welcome everyone to Redesign Your Life Today. I'm your host, Daniel Kobryner. I'm a heart-centered mental fitness coach, and motivational speaker, and passionate believer that transformation is always possible, no matter your age or your story. This podcast is a space for those of you, usually over 40, who feel stuck, off track, or disconnected from who you really are. If you ever thought there has to be more to life than this, you are in the right place. Here, we are going to explore how to break through fear, procrastination, self-doubt, and reconnect with your purpose, your power, and your truth. You'll hear inspiring conversations with heart-centered guests who have experienced real transformation and who now live with intention, freedom, and alignment. Every episode is an invitation to show up more fully, think more expansively, and take bold, soul-aligned actions towards the life which is waiting for you. So thank you for being there. Let's take a deep breath together, open our hearts, and step forward, because your life is not set in stone. You can redesign it starting right now. And today, I've got the immense pleasure and privilege to have a very special guest with us today. It's going to be a treat. So, Dr. Brigitte Bojkowszky is a global brand identity strategist, a business educator, a retreat host, and the visionary behind Brigitte Brands. With a background that spans from the skies as a flight attendant to the boardroom, to the university lecture hall for over 2 decades, and the entrepreneurial world, Brigitte helps individuals and organizations uncover their brilliance and build aligned, authentic brands that radiate impact. She's the creator of the transformative personal branding retreat, I Am Becoming, designed for high-achieving women in transition, ready to reclaim their identity and rise into visibility. Brigitte is also the host of the Brands Talk podcast. She's a sought-after speaker and a best-selling author, known for fusing strategy with soul in everything she does. So, Brigitte, thank you so much for being with us today. And we'll dive just in. As you know, this podcast, it's about transformation. It's about redesigning your life. We had the chance to have a first talk together, and there's so much which happened to you. So the stage is yours, and I'd like you to tell about, your life, explain it, and, transformations you've gone through.
So first of all, thank you so much, Daniel, for having me. I'm honored to be here and very grateful for this opportunity to share not just my expertise, but my journey, my truth. And I would like to start off with my own path, because I redesigned my life several times, and I think we will never stop. It's always a becoming, because we're always kind of in transition. We always think, okay, we are becoming something, and then everything stops. It's not the case. So there's always, we are always in transition. And when it comes to my life, my path, my journey, it was anything but linear. My path might look like a patchwork. You mentioned it already in this beautiful introduction. And when I hear something like that, okay, there's a lot going on in this woman's life, obviously. From flight attendant to student to corporate, and back to being a student, and then back to being a corporate, and on the sidelines teaching as a professor at universities, and then slowly becoming an entrepreneur as a sideline. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm, as I said, a brand identity strategist, a business educator, and also, in addition to that, a retreat facilitator, what I'm focusing on right now. So the parts of my journeys are seemingly kind of unrelated, right? It's something of this and then here, what's going on in this woman's life. But in retrospect, it totally makes sense. Each chapter was a layer of my becoming. And I think that's how we should see our life,
Mhm.
even though the chapters are unrelated. It's like a puzzle putting together. And every single chapter taught me something vital. And this is the beauty, because very often we think, okay, oh my God, why did I do this? What a waste of time. And it's not the case, because there's always something to take away. There's always immense learning. And very often it catapults you forward. Very often this is a leap into something new. We just don't see it in the moment. Yeah, so and as I said, it started off in the skies, quite literally, as a flight attendant and then head flight attendant. And I loved this, cultural diversity. I was on long hauls, also the human connection with all the
Mhm.
different mentalities, people coming from different walks of life and different parts of the world, and also the commitment to serve in excellence.
Mhm.
That's where I first learned how impactful experiences can be. So you are a host. So everything with what you're doing, you're hosting something, right? So you are hosting this beautiful and inspiring podcast, and I'm part of it. So I feel honored, but also the way of how you do it, this is the special blend of who you are and what you bring to the table and how you inspire others. And as a flight attendant, doing that, offering that service, that was where my passion for excellence, and now in branding, we talk about that later, what that means, first took root. Yeah. So that was my first, when you have graduated, that's what I always wanted to become. And then suddenly you feel like, is this all in life? What's next? I
Mhm.
felt intellectually unchallenged, and deep down I knew it was time to jump plane. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because if I stayed, I'd shrink. And I didn't want to live with that regret. So I knew there is something more, a different way to serve, because we're always serving, right? Something with another deeper meaning. And I left that role even though it ripped my heart out. But I felt there was this inner calling. I had to do it. And also, because I didn't know what's coming, do I have the brains for studying? I felt like jumping without a parachute. But you need to do it. You need to do it anyway. There is it comes later, because the pain becomes so strong, even though you're leading such a life. But if there is an inner knowing, there is something else, and you need to pursue that, whatever that is, then you have to do it. So I became a student with the ultimate goal to return to the airline industry. But once I finished, the airline industry was consolidating. They were rather firing than hiring. So there was no place for me anymore. So I had to pivot into other organizations. And after several years, there was the opportunity to follow up with my doctorate, and so I did that, and then I entered the airline, the not the airline, the international real estate industry, so in the international real estate development industry.
Mhm.
And that gave me global exposure again. It was interesting to dive into that specific industry. And I loved it a lot. But it also taught me how fragile identity can feel when it's tied solely to a company or a title, because you have a certain role, you have a certain title, you work for a company, but once this is taken away from you, because in 2008, recession kicked in, there was the crisis, right? So
Mhm.
we went bankrupt basically from one month to the next, and I was left without an identity. I was asking myself, who am I? Everything was taken from me because I identified myself with this job. Yeah, I was in this role, I had this title, I was about to transfer to the Netherlands from Austria to take over another global position. It just didn't happen anymore, and I was lost. And but it also was a catalyst. It ignited the realization I needed to create something that no one ever could take away from me again, and that's my identity. And that's where, you know, the thought about personal branding, because everyone is a brand, whether you are aware of it or not. You need to know who you are at your core, because if the outer world is taking away everything that somehow describes you, you are lost because you don't know. Yeah, because people are not really taking the time to reflect. You don't have the time, you are in that rat race. So that was my first encounter with, okay, there needs to be a look inside. Yeah, so this is the journey until then. So if you have any questions.
No, I mean, first of all, listen to you, it's absolutely beautiful. And there's so much which resonates with me. As you know, I'm a, mental fitness coach, and I help people who are stuck really to embrace the life they deserve to live, and to live the goals and passions, to uncover their passions and to live them. And see, several things resonated with me in what you said, Brigitte, first, and that everything in life happens for a reason. And this is, and when you realize that life happens, I mean, something's good, something less good, but when we realize that it is in my movie for a reason, it is to teach us something, it is really to learn from that. And even if on the moment we think, oh, there's such terrible things, you said, okay, being laid off, it happens, recession things, the world collapses. But afterwards, you notice that actually this is like, uh, how do you say, a jumping board to the next step.
Yeah,
And very often we have fears, and of course, we all have fears. But what we don't realize is our biggest success, our biggest transformation, is just on the other side of the fear. So when we realize that we, instead of being fearful, instead of, dreading, not doing, let's embrace. Let's do that. Let's take the challenge. Okay, it's there. How am I going to do that? And when we do that, this is really when things you know changes. You mentioned as well, and about calling. And this again, I so much resonate with this, because we do things and we can be very good at what we do. Sure, but sometimes we think, well, is it? Is it this? Is it just that? Am I, isn't there something better or different, or more fulfilling, which is awaiting me? And this is, for our auditors, our audience, when you listen to this, it's like, okay, what do you really want to do? What's your drive? What makes you wake up in the morning? What are your dreams, which really you had perhaps since being a child and you haven't yet fulfilled? So these were just some remarks. And now,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
how does
Yeah,
it resonate with you, Brigitte?
absolutely. And sometimes it takes half a century to figure it out, like in my case, because sometimes you don't get clarity until for so long. And you're searching and you're looking for what is it exactly. And then life, of course it happens for you. That's all about, but we need to trust. But it takes sometimes these U-turns and sometimes the detours. And sometimes, why am I going through all of this? But it's part of the plan. It's part, you need to integrate that. And as you say, embrace that. Sometimes you feel like tortured. Yeah. Why is this happening to me? And sometimes then you have to let go of the force of the chasing of, because there is a certain idea, you have a vision and you want to go for it and you are inspired and you push and things are not happening the way you want it in that specific order. There is things that you still need to learn. So that's why you need to take a detour. And that's why life puts you there and here. And then you're asking yourself, what is going on here? Because you're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You're not seeing what's beyond this transformation. And the transformation is not just one. There is many transformation from one place to the next one and from one station or stop in your life. Yeah, it's like a train. You need to get off and see what's there and do another learning here. And then you continue your travel. Yeah. It really is often pushing you to the edge. And but you see that in interest in retrospect. And I think that's so beautiful when you let go of the force and when you are in alignment and with your passion and with your purpose. And whenever you do something, you're doing something good and not thinking about the outcome in the first place, but think about what you're doing is a good thing that serves a certain audience, and you contribute to the world, to making it a better place, and you give it your all every single day. No matter how many rejections you get, no matter how many times you are not seen, being invisible, being ignored, I mean, you learn the grit, you learn perseverance, you learn to just do whatever you can. When you have this bigger picture, when you have this vision, when you are having this higher purpose that is calling you, you cannot stop. And that is something that gives me this inner drive, and that makes me think, okay, I'm here for a reason. And so every chapter helped me to understand a little bit better. So for example, when I went into, after I lost my identity kind of in the corporate world, I was asked by the university to take on more teaching load. And I was happy for the time being, and I did it all together. Almost 25 years I was teaching at universities, either on a sideline or full-time worldwide. It gave me a lot of expertise on a very, very high level in the area of global marketing, global management, global consumer behavior, global market research, global brand management. And this is a lot of experience that I can pull from, right? And now breaking it down to individuals, because behind every corporate brand or company brand are these individuals, the human beings that make that brand so successful. And it's about our individual contribution, but also in how far we are appreciated and seen as someone who is contributing, as a contributor to what we are creating here, and living and breathing a vision and the values that keep this certain organizational culture alive and beautiful, and projecting that to the outside world. And this is something what helped me to understand. It gave me the structure and the know-how, the background that helps me now to teach, to guide my clients, to do my retreats, and really focus then on the individual, whether I work with CEOs or corporate executive teams to reshape their corporate identity, or it's elevating leadership presence. That's part of leadership branding. It's a perception on leadership, but it comes from the branding side, right? And then personal branding, of course. That's the the denominator, and that's where it all starts. It starts with the human being, and yeah and with knowing who you are and what you can give to the world. Yeah.
Well, you see, all what you say resonates so much with me. I have to say, I'm using a lot of very similar words, if not the same, Brigitte, and it's fun, and it's first, your energy and your drive. This is really what makes a difference. It's when you believe in what you do and you give your best. And you see, you mentioned something before, and it's like sometimes people ask themselves, oh, why does this happen to me? Right? And this is what I would describe as like the victim mode. Oh, I'm a victim. Why is it to me? What have I done to it? No, life happens. What makes a difference between people is what do we do with that?
Mm.
See, the second stage is like, okay, what about why is it happening for me? Oh, already just thinking about that, it's like, oh, it's different. Perhaps there's something, but there's a third stage, which is it happens through me. And when it happens through me, it means I am taking charge. I am taking my power back. And as you said before, I'm not going to let others, circumstances, jobs, relationships take over who I am. I'm deciding who I am. And this is why, so it resonates so much. And you talked about masks, and a lot of people, it resonates again with me. A lot of people define them by, oh, my title or my this. And when it's taken away, oh, life collapses. But these titles, it's not who people are inside themselves. It's not the, it's for me, it's really about who you are. What's your
Mm.
real core values? Who is your authentic self? And now, obviously, you know, your experience, which is amazing, got you into branding. And I'd like us to dive a little more because, you know, there are different areas of branding, could be personal, could be corporate. So I'd like to hear more about this from you, Brigitte.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's so beautiful because we are using similar terms or words or phrases. Branding is very, very closely intertwined with leadership. And in my world, branding starts with mindset. It starts from within. And when it comes to leadership, great leadership is bringing the greatness out of others. But in order to be empathic and have this compassion and this understanding, you need to lead yourself first, and it's always demands a look inside. So branding begins with clarity of who you are,
Mhm.
what you stand for. Mindset anchors presence, because imagine entering a boardroom confident, centered. Your personal brand isn't a mask, it's your integrity in action. And that presence influences the culture that you embrace, that you're building, that you're living. Yeah, it builds trust and also helps you in decision making, and people gonna follow you. So when it comes to branding, and I have this holistic perspective on branding, it's not just about logos or taglines. Branding is a living system,
Mhm.
a fusion of your values, I've mentioned, voice, and of course, visuals and behaviors, and how people feel when they engage with you or your business. It's your story in action. It's your inner narrative. It's your story that you tell yourself first and you tell your others, because it's always it reflects to the outside world. So in that case, I want to say branding is something that makes others feel with what you are sending out. It's always about how you make someone else feel.
Mhm.
Because by the feeling, you touch people's hearts. And when you first touch people's hearts, people remember. They create something. It goes deep because there's a story behind. There's vulnerability, most probably, through your authenticity, because people can relate to you. They see themselves in you, or they see something they need, they aspire, they desire, whatever. Yeah. And then it goes to your mind, to your head. So this branding aspect has also the duality of the rational part when it comes to company or a person, but also an emotional part. And when we first go through your heart and then to your brain, and I've experienced that thousands of times with my students. I mean, I think I taught more than 10,000 students, right?
Mhm.
So the interesting thing, when you tell a story, they remember, and then they make sense of things, and then they always keep it. Yeah, they just remember it. If you tell them something like numbers, it's rational, okay, but they will not remember. So it's about making someone feel. So it is more than logos and taglines. Yes, you express that in these physical elements, brand elements in a way, but it starts always from within, from your heart, from mindset. And yeah, and it's always starts with seeing yourself or seeing ourselves first. It always starts with introspection, uncovering who you are at your core, and aligning that with how you show up in the world. Yeah. There's always the look first inside. Yeah. And if you do not know your worth, your story, your values, how can you expect others to see you clearly? This is my question. Because how can others, if you're in a rat race, if you're always out of focused titles, you have to this, you have to do that. Maybe you're conditioned like that. I always was conditioned to, playing small and doing this and doing that and people pleasing and fitting in, but you lose yourself on your path, on your journey. And there's always a time where you check in. Either it's originated, caused like by external factors, you lose your job, a divorce, kids are out of house, or whatever it is. Suddenly, what is it that I'm doing? Who am I truly? What is next? And this is the thing, and that's why branding starts from within. It's understanding who you are. So your inner narrative becomes your outer reputation. And mindset, that's why branding starts with mindset, is the bridge between your inner greatness, your inner brilliance, your inner whatever you are so great at, your uniqueness, and your external brand expression. The expression is how you make others feel, and they then create an image about you. You're not creating the image, you indirectly through your identity. That's what you are, how you show yourself. Others then have a feeling about you, and then they create an image about you. So greatness always begins inside.
Wow. Again, this is really beautiful. And you see, the some words again resonate very much with me. You use the word authenticity. It's really being yourself. And people say as well that on the scale of emotions of Hawkins, when people speak about self-realization, very often synonymous would be authenticity. It's really being yourself. You said showing up the way you are. It's not about impressing people. And it's never about trying to do what people expect for you to do. It's really being yourself. If people resonate, it's great. If they don't, it's great as well. Again, we cannot expect everyone to be there. There's another word which you mentioned, which is so important. It's vulnerability. And I can, just to mention a few words, I used to be a perfectionist. I used to be an overthinker, big time, and I was good, doing plans, but I realized that it drained, I wasted so much time, energy, and when I started even being coach myself, I really saw blind spots, which I didn't know, and then I gradually learned to let go, to follow my heart and to follow my intuition. I think you mentioned it, before when you had the feeling, and we all have that. Everybody has intuition. It's just that very often we brush it off. No, it's all right. No, no, in my head, this is how it should be. And we realize that very often when we do that, if we don't follow our intuition, we realize that when we have an issue, it comes from that. So, you know, the just the see this branding, it as you said, it it starts so much from who we are and alignment in all areas of our lives. So, if this is so powerful. And another thing as well is that even you mentioned, Brigitte, about emotions, and it's really what drives people. It's emotion. We all have like an electromagnetic field around us, and actually, even when we meet people physically, people say our energies meet before we meet. And so again, this resonates. So how did it translate now, for instance, when you started applying this with individuals, companies? Tell us about some transformations, perhaps examples of what you really saw happening when people started working with you, Brigitte.
Yeah. I would like to start with, because you mentioned perfectionism, and you
Yes,
were one of them. Me too. And there's a lot of others. So my clients are also in this corner, right?
yes.
And with perfectionism, you take away authenticity.
Hmm.
And that's where you connect. We have that with the emotions,
Yes.
because you can never be that 100% perfect. Yeah. I mean, we are driven because the company's philosophies, they want us. Yeah. Also, I remember in all my different jobs, I wanted to be perfect because I wanted to be good. I wanted to climb the career ladder. But it takes away your humanity in a sense. Yeah. And that's why compassionate leadership is so important. Yeah. Doing wise decision in a human way. Compassion. In compassion is the empathy. Yeah. And so this 20%, you can reach 80%, yeah, as you know, when it
Hmm.
comes to perfectionism. But it's so hard to achieve the other 20 to be at the 100. And this is like a lifetime work. It just doesn't work because you're striving for something um, that is you're taking away so much valuable time for being there and authentically being there, being vulnerable. I'm not talking about being vulnerable in a victim position, talking from the wounds, oh my God, I'm so, yeah, we are not in a reality show, but speaking from a place of speaking from the scars. I went through a lot of pain in my life, but I'm healing. And it's important to communicate that message. Yes, I was that. Yes, I'm healing from it. Yes, I'm on my path. And that's what I do. So you give them a strategy because you're compassionate, because people now see themselves in you. Oh, she's one of me.
Hmm.
How did she do it? It's about, and you said that at the beginning, it's how we are dealing with when life happens.
Hmm.
when life happens. Yeah. How do we deal with that? And it's showing you are a human being, showing authenticity. And in that is Brené Brown. She talks so much about vulnerability. And I so much agree to that. And that's part of us. That's how we connect. And as you say, it's about all of our walks of life. And within us, it's soul, mind, but also body. Yeah, it affects everything. That it's a system. It needs to be in sync. It needs to be aligned. If one is not aligned, something is going on, and you have to have a look inside. Where is this coming from? Maybe a limiting belief. And when it comes to limiting beliefs, yeah, with my clients, there is so much of that out there. This pain of I'm not good enough. I'm not seen. I should play small. When I play big, what are other people thinking of me? We are actually creating a story. Yeah, when I'm not good enough, and what are they thinking? I mean, some stories might be true, but do you have evidence? If it's fact, then you can work with that. But a lot of things we are making up. So instead of this limiting beliefs, okay, look at that. What is it that you're limiting yourself with? Why are you imposing a limit? Like you're putting yourself back into a box where you do not belong just because you are afraid and you are fraught with fear. Yeah? If I do this, what will other people think about me? Yeah, okay, they think about you, but then it's not your audience anyway. We call that demarketing. Yeah? Oh, some people we don't even need to attract. So let's focus on those who resonate with my message, those who relate with my message. And then turning this, it's always easier said than done. I know inner work is sometimes really, really hard, but it's at the same time, it's opening up a whole different world that you enjoy. So turning this limiting into empowering beliefs, and that needs repetition. That needs, changing behavior doesn't go from now until tomorrow. Yeah, it takes some effort, but it's about your life. It's about your healing. Why not putting effort into yourself first? Yeah? It's the same oxygen masks on board.
Yes.
You know, but when there's a rapid decompression, you don't help others first because you will never get there. You die before. So first you need to heal, and then you can help others. So don't strive for perfectionism. It's taking away from your authenticity. Strive for excellence. So whatever you're doing, you are doing in the best possible version. And if it's not living up to something, you are a human being. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. So I was always fraught with fear. Okay, my English is not my mother tongue, and maybe I'm using too many s and us and so's. Okay, but I'm learning. I'm on my way, and it's okay. As long as you follow your heart, I think that's important. And it's so beautiful to see when we look at all these different facets of building a personal brand. And it starts with mindset. It starts with turning limiting into empowering belief. It starts with having a vision. What is your mission? What are your fundamental values? That is the foundation, and based on that you build your personal brand, and that in all walks of life. Because if you are different in your job, and different with yourself, and different with your family or your friends, there is friction. So what is it, the friction? You want to remove that friction because you want to be your authentic you, your true, you want to figure out what's your true essence, and that's what you want to live. Of course you play certain roles and you have to take on certain titles, but blend in yourself. Allow room for authenticity. And this is where we differentiate. This is where we make an impact. We don't need to conform with everything so that we cannot even breathe anymore. That's not why we're supposed to be here. Everyone leaves a footprint. And a good footprint is always, it's always the element of you.
Absolutely. Well, this is so so powerful. And you see, some things come to mind when it's now something is very clear for me. It's perhaps I had some kind of spiritual awakening over the past few years. I used to be very rational, and but that we are on this planet. I mean, each of us here, every has some unique gifts, and we are here to show these gifts, to make this planet a better place. If we can help one person with our abilities, and again, it's not about us, it's really about serving others. It's about being of service. And this is when we realize that, again, people will resonate with us because, okay, we are unique, we are different, and it's some, and see, studies were made that what is the biggest regret people have just before they die, if they are on their bed. It's not to have failed, because actually failure doesn't exist. We said their experiences, okay, with some, they don't give us the outcome we wanted, but okay, it enables us to, to learn from this and to change a path. But it's really about not having done the things we really wanted to do. We knew we had it and we didn't. And this is really the most difficult, I mean, the most painful things. So, whatever dreams everybody has, give it a go. Go for that. It's your life. We just have one life. And something very powerful you mentioned, Brigitte, as well, is very often we play small and we don't realize what we can bring to this world. So what's very important is to surround ourselves with like-minded, like-spirited people, people who are going to uplift us and whom we are going to uplift as well. Your environment is so important because if on the other side we have people draining our energies and criticizing us, actually it's going to make us smaller, it's going to make us shrink. So what's your take on this, Brigitte, if I may ask?
Oh my God, this is such a beautiful question because it's also part of my journey, and it's so beautiful you say that. Yeah, it's surrounding ourselves with like-minded people, but you only have that much capacity.
Mhm,
So first, it's so important to let go what no longer is part of your life, what
mhm,
no longer kind of quote unquote serves you.
mhm,
That doesn't mean, oh my God, this is not good enough. Letting go with gratitude. I always say like Marie Kondoing, when you put away some clothes and give it to the Goodwill.
mhm,
It's like, okay, thank you. You have been part of my life until now, and now it's time to let go. I have changed. You have changed. You can do it like that, but you need to let go first of whatever does not serve you and what drains you. It's like this keeping small. It's very hard because we always think, how can I do that? And I feel bad about it. No, let it go with gratitude and send blessings. Saying, okay, send you all the best for your life because maybe it's also harming that person or holding that person back, but this is holding us back. And then, of course, you feel like you are in a void. There is you feel lost, you feel alone. But this is the time to reflect, to go in introspection and build yourself up from the core, who you truly are, with all the learnings and the experiences in your life. And then you know who you are, and then you know who is good for you. And when you know that, you can open up and then you're ready to embrace the new. You need to take action and also put yourself out there. That takes courageousness, right? So you need to be courageous and you need to get out of your comfort zone. Being and playing in your comfort zone is playing small and is keeping you invisible. You need to get out there. You need to be visible. Don't think about what others think of you. That's okay. That's so okay. And I think we need to learn to stay with that feeling that this is okay. It's not fun, it's uncomfortable, but we need to stay with it. You will find the right people that bring so much joy, happiness, and inspiration in your life, that lift you up. And it's not just a one-way street, it works in both ways. That's something I want to say though that.
Well, you see, again, I'm so much on par with this. And see, what I noticed in life is when very often, I mean, because I'm I'm a coach as well, and obviously I deal with people who procrastinate a lot and are perfectionist. It's and now I'm teaching positive intelligence, how people uncover their saboteurs and really go into their sage mode, which is really a wonderful program. And one of the first steps for anybody listening is that when you want to do something, take the first step. Take the first step. Go into action. And I thought of this because of what you just said, Brigitte, is that when we show up to the world, when we take actions, it doesn't feel comfortable. But what happens is, wow, we start doing this, and all of a sudden things are happening. Now, I believe that again, everything happens for a reason. We send signals, we send these high vibrations to the universe. And okay, this is perhaps my way of talking, but things are coming back. This is like, wow. So, really, it's about having, and you said as well, having the certainty that we are on the right path. This is our path. How we are going to do, sometimes we don't know, and it's absolutely fine not to know the how. If we have the why, if we really want to go there, things are unfolding. I mean, these are some miracles. And yeah, so and of course, you now in branding, we talked about, obviously individuals, we talked about companies, and as well bringing people together, Brigitte. And then I'd like you to tell us a little bit about the retreats you are organizing, because this is, I think, bringing things to the next level. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. So I've created this retreat. It's called I Am Becoming. Because I saw a pattern, especially when it comes to now I'm focusing on this target audience first, because maybe, never know in the future also on others. But that I saw a pattern when it comes to brilliant, high achieving women and when they are in transition, because they are somewhere stuck, yeah, in between what was and what's next, between success and soul alignment. And I created this retreat because I know how lonely and confusing it can be, this in between season. And I want women to know that they are not lost, not behind, they are becoming. Because there is, you talked about this feeling stuck and so on. I truly believe there is wisdom in misalignment. It's a signal, a wake up, and not a sentence. It is something that, wakes you up. So, what's next? What's coming? And this is a place where I help my women or these women to figure that out, to help them address all of that, to help them in their transition, to navigate this divorce or the breaking out of this rat race and maybe leaving corporate or just, because they're questioning, who am I? Yeah. And so it's a 5-day immersive retreat in the Austrian Alps. And yeah, for women who are just feel the pull towards something more. They are ready, but just don't know how. Yeah? And which steps to take. What's the next version of themselves? And it's, as you say, it's not about just strategy. It's about soul and creating space for silence, for storytelling, for self-reclamation. We realign identity, personal identity, reconnecting with a higher purpose. Yeah, it's this redesigning of our life with a guiding branding strategy in mind. So it's a sacred space for stillness, clarity, and transformation. And it's not transaction; it's really transformation. It's deeply curated, and I think the most fulfilling work I've ever done. And it's not just about building a brand, it's about becoming the brand you were born to be and seeing the beauty, seeing the brilliance, seeing the uniqueness that you always had within you.
Wow, this is again so beautiful, so beautiful. And see, when I was talking about obviously surrounding yourself as well with like-minded people, when you are in a retreat like this, and I love the word as well, sacred space. What does it mean? It means that people can express themselves vulnerably, openly, without fears of being judged, of being criticized, of being given unsolicited advice. It's really about being heard, being understood, and being felt. So this opportunity, I think everybody should
Yeah.
jump on this, because I mean this is life-changing when you have a retreat like this. So
Yeah, it is the community. We talked about getting together, finding like-minded people, and then you find like-minded people, and it's curated with only 12 people.
okay,
And you need also a place where you feel safe, where you feel trust, where you feel you belong. And that's what I want to give these women. I didn't have that. And very often, beautiful lifetime relationships start from something like that.
well, absolutely. I mean, I can so much relate to that. I mean, when people spend time together and start sharing, these are bonds for life afterwards. And it's and when people want to work with you, Brigitte, what are the various ways? I mean, is it like, do you have group coaching, just individual? Do you have online as well?
Yeah. So since I really started kicking off my business at the beginning of COVID,
Mhm.
I had it to pivot to online. So I learned everything about online. Of course, I was teaching on a side at the university as well online, and created, developed self-paced courses online. But now I really enjoy working more in that, and that's what I'm doing now with my company. I do workshops, online workshops, but offline in form of retreats. I
Mhm.
work also with the company executives online, if it's in the US, in France, here and there. But I'm also happy to come. That's what I also do when they invite me to speak on one of their summits for a company. I also do workshops for big company in personal branding. So for specific groups they create internally, like employee resource groups. If there is demand and if it's wanted, I do small group coachings as well. So if is a group of women or a group of people coming and say, "Hey, listen, I don't want to do one-on-one, but I would love a group coaching so they have kind of an accountability too as a group," then I do that as well. So I'm available online, offline, and that's how it works.
I
Yeah.
mean, so much, and yeah. So, Brigitte, are there like some last tips you would like to give to the audience? Some things we perhaps have not covered? Anything so really to empower people and to go into the branding story or journey?
Yeah, so there's two things that I would like to mention. First of all, when you are in a transformation, you think your life ends. For me, it was like it felt like the end of my career. Think it like that, but was actually the beginning of something new, of my calling. Maybe you have that too when you are transitioning. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's again this letting go of something you are chasing, that you hold on to because there is nothing else. You just don't see it. It's about letting it go and allowing yourself to be for the moment. I understand financial distress. I know what this is. But even in the worst scenarios, you will see that things are coming together. You just need to trust the journey because it's happening for you. And
Mhm.
also choose presence over perfection. We talked about that. Yeah, it is effort that is a wasted time, I would say, if you are going for this 20%. Yeah. Your brand isn't a project. It's you unfolding. So, as I say, I am becoming and so are you.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, this was absolutely amazing, Brigitte. And so when people want to contact you, what's the best way? Obviously, we'll have all your contacts and details will be in, with the video, but anything if people wanted to come now and to just to contact you right away?
My email is bb@brigittebrains.com. You can also put that in the show notes. And
Okay.
I
Yeah.
am available on LinkedIn and on Instagram. And of course, brigittebrains.com is my website. And you also have the retreat link, I suppose.
Mhm.
Please go
Yes,
there as well.
exactly.
It's
Exactly.
happening.
What are the dates? What are the dates of the retreat?
Yes, it's coming up soon, but maybe you are a fast decision maker and maybe last minute is your thing. September 10 to 14 this year.
Okay. And in the beautiful Austrian Alps, yeah, is it this? Yes.
So from the UK, it's not really far. There are non-stop flights to the city. It's called Klagenfurt, and from there you're gonna get picked up and driven right to this sanctuary where I'll meet you.
Well, thank you so much. This was absolutely beautiful, and thank you for the audience for being with us. And I hope you got a lot of golden nuggets. I mean, today there are so many, and I'm sure we can go another interview because there's so much more. But thank you very much, Brigitte, for being with us, for inspiring you with your beautiful story, and for reminding people that said it's always possible to redesign your life. Just trust yourself. Just follow your instinct. Surround you with good people and go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Thank you so much. And thank you for the and I see you in the next episode. Bye.
Super.
Okay.